The next inductee is the reason why seating's at a bit of a premium this morning. It's my pleasure to induct Nolan Natale. And if you went here in the 60s or the 70s, you'll know the Natale family because they just kept coming in waves from Oak Ridge. I think it was a competition between that and the Mitchell family, who could get more kids in here at one time. So Nolan was raised in the center of the universe, as anyone from Oak Ridge considers it, and he came here in '66, stayed till '71, and I think he had a great time, like all his family members. I know several of the family members, and they're a wonderful family, and he's lucky to have them. While he was here, he was involved with student council. He was vice president of student council for a couple of years. Then he went on to the University of Waterloo and studied architecture and got a degree in environmental studies and architecture. So he's one of those guys who knows how to draw boxes really well. And he apprenticed, as all architects have to do, with some large firms, highly recognized firms. I think I got it right. Adams and Associates, Adam and Chu Architects, Let Smith Architects. And he went on to get his accreditation as an architect. He worked on some fairly notable projects in his early career, the Battery Park project in New York, the Moray Theatre in Toronto's Harbourfront, and I'm not sure what an oratory of St. Philip Neri in Toronto is, but maybe Nolan could shed some light on that. And different projects around Toronto, and then in Alberta, Calgary, and Edmonton. 1985, he got together with one of his classmates, Tim Scott, and established the firm of Natale and Scott Architects. He obviously won the coin toss because he was first. And then his firm immediately won a design award for his work in the Toronto Waterfront Park. So he didn't waste any time earning some awards and some recognition. He has gone on to complete, or his firm has, 100 or so building and planning projects. He's been involved with the Stanley Park Community Recreation Center in North York. These are all design awards that he and his firm won. A 3D multiplayer kiosk. Maybe you can shed some light on that too, whatever that's supposed to mean. And the Cyber Explorer for Immersion Studies, which was featured at the Canadian Pavilion in Expo 2005 in Japan. He has designed some interactive movie cinemas in Melbourne, Australia, the Smithsonian in Washington, a marine laboratory in Sarasota, all kinds of neat stuff here. So this guy knows what he's doing. He's brought recognition onto himself in this field of study. And so if you need someone to design your next tool shed or maybe he's your guy. So I'd like to formally induct Nolan into the case of distinction, and congratulations. Come say a few words.
Thank you, John. I sound pretty good. I don't often think of your career or what you're doing as being that spectacular, especially when you come from a family of 9 children, many of whom have decided to join me here today, which I'm very pleased about. Because even though I'm nervous and unprepared, I won't be embarrassed. I'd like to just, if I can, just because John has referred to the numbers, I want to embarrass them all by just asking if the Natales can just stand up to show you some of to show you our power of numbers. As John said, there's a long history of Natales at the King City Secondary School, and in some ways, I think that this is almost like a participation prize. You know, there were so damn many of us, they had to give us something. But I'm really moved by the honor of being inducted into the case of distinction, and I think the idea is very commendable for the school, especially if graduates are able to extend some kind of inspiration to the students that are at school now. It would be, this is being videoed, so I'm hoping that students will at one time or another maybe watch some of these videos, because the people that are in the case and the people that are being inducted today, I think are very impressive examples and would provide inspiration for students. And I have so many memories of high school going here, friends, teachers, good times, embarrassing times, but one in particular that continues to haunt me as being a kind of a moving experience for me and kind of changed my life was one that I would like to relate, and it has to do with failing physics. And for me, physics was a very difficult subject. And I had to go to summer school and came back because physics was one of the prerequisites for me going on to university. I had to take it again for grade 13, and I came back to class, and of course my teacher was Mr. Carson. Mr. Carson, I hope I don't embarrass you. Mr. Carson for me in those days was very intimidating. He was a brilliant man, but physics was something that just wasn't penetrating the teenage membrane around my skull. And I had the hardest time with it. But after summer school, I had decided that I was going to make some effort, and I was trying to pay attention. And it was one day in class, and Mr. Carson was asking a question, and he had a habit of just kind of pacing back and forth in front of the class, almost in a race walk. And if you had any kind of a clue what was going on, answers were being just kind of called out, and he was very frustrated because nobody was getting the right answer. And he's frothing at the mouth. And I thought I knew the answer, and of course called out an answer, and I think it just kind of floored him, because he stopped this motion, and it was just like a Tiger Woods pump. That yes, that was it. I think it was Doppler shift. But I had got the right answer, and that was kind of an exciting moment. And he looked at me and was almost in shock. I know it's just a simple thing, but it has stayed with me for such a long time, and I attribute a lot of my attitude to learning to a simple event like that. And that was that from that point, it helped me to kind of have confidence that I could understand things in school that prior to that I didn't think I could handle. And when you're a student in high school, that is probably one of the biggest problems, just telling yourself that this is just too hard for me. I don't get math, I don't get science, I don't get these things. When in fact it is possible to understand this with a little bit of effort and a lot of support and dedication from teachers that from that point on I had a huge amount of respect for. And I always remember that because it extended for me into other subjects, of course. I just adopted the same kind of attitude. Some effort was always combined with some effort, and trying to understand basic concepts of English, history, geography, and putting things together. And that's when learning really starts to happen, and is something that you can then take forward in your career. I try to do that every day in my work. I do big projects, small projects. I'm proud of the work I do. And in each of those projects, I'm trying to do something because I make buildings. I believe that buildings have huge impact on people's lives because we occupy them and use them every day. So I take them very seriously, and I try to do a good job. So on each of these projects, it's like a learning experience of reinventing something that's very simple over and over again, and in that way trying to achieve the best possible solution. And I'm very thankful for staff, not just Mr. Carson, but key among them, and the rest of the staff at King City High School, because, have I mentioned there are 9 Natales? 5 of those 9 brothers and sisters are teachers. And I know a lot about teaching, and I've learned a lot about teaching through them. And I know that teaching is probably, next to being a stay-at-home parent, the hardest job going. And it's a huge challenge. So when a teacher is successful, when a teacher is able to crack that membrane, open the doors to a student, and see the light come on, that has to be the most satisfying experience for teachers. And the work and dedication and support that you have to put in to be a good teacher, I see from my brothers and sisters, all of whom deserve this award as much as I do. So I feel like I've been nominated captain of our team to accept this award, and on their behalf, I say thank you very much to everybody.